everywhere from Barcelona to Budapest. But now, George Ezra is heading for the big screen with a brand new documentary filmed back here in the UK.
Yeah, End to End sees George embark on a 1,200-mile trek from coast to coast to find out more about his musical roots. Let's take a look. And
I'm delighted to say that George joins us now. Good morning to you. I mean, loved the documentary. It was such a brilliant watch. I think from the point of view, you could tell it was something that you really passionately wanted to do. We learnt a lot about you, but also the environment, music, you know, there was so much going on in it. We've got to talk there about, because you sounded like you were being shot at in that bit of footage that we just showed. Do you want to just explain what was happening?
Well, you kind of just have to follow where the map tells you to go. And on that day, it's like, now walk through the shooting range. So we're walking through this live shooting range, which is terrifying. But yeah, the whole thing, like that. We visited different musicians as we went.
Yeah.
The idea was, for my first and second album, I kind of tied the writing of the songs to a specific journey. And so the idea was that we would do this walk and I would piece together the songs. But then obviously lockdown hit. So we couldn't go initially in 2020.
Right.
So by the time we actually set off, I'd written the album for the most part.
Yeah.
And so then we were like, well, how do you kind of piece the journey together? And so we visited other musicians. So kind of every week or so we would visit a different group, you know, where they do what they do and talk to. It was honestly life-changing.
And what I like about it is, because you often see stars and they put on a front and they act in a certain way. But this, obviously, you can't act all the ways that, you know, we see who you are. And you're with two friends, aren't you? There's a moment where you hurt your foot really early on, I think. And they joke that it looks like an antique foot or I don't know, I can't remember what it was, but it's a genuinely funny moment. But you're able to just be yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so Adam and Christy are the friends that I walked with. I met them in my first year of university. They're both filmmakers. Adam's toured with me ever since. And yeah, look at this stuff. It's just we kind of wild camped.
That was the midges, wasn't
it? The whole thing was just. And no day was easy. No day was all that fun until you actually got to the end of it and thought, that was incredible.
And look back on what you did.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
And do you think, because you went with two friends, it meant that you did open up more? Because, you know, we did learn a lot about you, and you talked, you know, in a really sort of personal way about things like when you were on tour and the difficulties you'd had and how the pressure of that did get to you. I mean, I found it really... there was one point where you said you were kind of just in tears, you were just getting ready one time. And do you think it's because you were there with your friends that you just opened up and felt able to talk about those things, which maybe in another environment you wouldn't have done?
Yeah, without a doubt. And you know, we walked for 95 days, is how long we were away from home. And every night we were sat together around a campfire. Every day we walked between 20 and 30 miles, and it slows you down. And we all spoke, you know, And we learnt about each other, and often not even through conversation, through just quiet times and observing each other, but to have the space and the trust in them to talk, no doubt, it was brilliant.
So you have talked openly in the film, but also previously about your mental health, and you've talked about OCD. My son has got OCD, and when people like you speak about mental health issues, it does. I mean, it really helped us, because I must admit, we looked at it and we thought, oh my gosh, there's someone who's doing so well, and you are talking about OCD and you're putting OCD on the map, and there'll be people watching this who will be in the same position that I was in a few years ago with my son, and you know, do you realise how much of a difference you make?
Thank you, dude. No, you don't realise.
You do.
Yeah, that's. God, in some way, you're aware, and I can put myself. And think back to times where I've heard people I look up to talk about things and go, like, that helped in some way. I think the nature of a journey like this is you kind of relax to the idea that there's cameras. Because, as I said, it's 95 days. If you were self-aware and, you know, self-conscious for 95 days, it wouldn't work. So you kind of go, well, let's assume none of this makes the cut. Just talk, you know, just talk. And, yeah, things like that will naturally come up.
And that's where you get the little gems.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, good for you. Listen, I hate to interrupt the proceedings, but we have actually a far superior interviewer who is waiting in the wings to ask you a few questions. It's actually my daughter, Ella Rose.
He's a big fan.
She is a George Ezra super fan, and Ella Rose begged me
How are you?
to come in today. Ella Rose, shall I leave it to you? What would you like to say?
Hello, George Ezra.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Have you got some questions?
Yeah.
Hit me.
My favourite song of yours is Green Green Grass. What's your favourite song?
At the moment, that's my favourite to play live, for sure. Because it's the ones where everyone sings along, you know? Because you get these big audiences, and when everyone's happy and the hands are in the air, that's the best bit.
How do you think of what to write in your songs? They're very interesting and different, and I want to know how you come up with them.
Thank you. I don't know. I have fun doing it. You know, I enjoy writing them. And it's fun to see what words go together and writing stories. I think it's, you know... And the good thing is no one has to hear them necessarily, you know? So just write. And if you feel like you want to share it, then show some people.
I watched the documentary that you made about walking the whole country. Did your feet hurt, and were you glad to get back home at the end of it?
My feet really hurt, and I made a mistake. So my friends wore very practical kind of hiking and running shoes, and I wore these big, clunky leather boots, and I had blisters and aches. So my feet hurt a lot. And yeah, I was very excited to come home and have a bath. I smelt bad.
I've just started playing the piano. How old were you when you first started playing music, and what instrument did you play?
I don't think I was as young as you are. How old are you?
7.
7? No, I wasn't 7. I was maybe 14. So you've got a lot of years on me. You'll be a master. Do you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Good. Good.
How much do you have to practice?
Probably more than I do. I should practice some more. So next month we're going on tour, me and the band, and we'll play all around the country. And we'll have about 3 or 4 days where we get there in the morning and we won't leave until late at night, and we just play the songs, play the songs, play the songs, play the songs until you're sick of them, just to make sure they're really, you know, you've got it right. Yeah.
Well done. And we have to wrap it up there. I think you've done our job for us. Well done, Ella Rose.
Ella Rose.
Congratulations.
I'm going to give up the day job.
I know. Should we just go at this stage? George, thank you so
Not at all.
much. It's been great. I think, you know, we can just leave it to Ella Rose now. You're going to say a big thank you to George Ezra?
Thank you. Thank you.
George, really good to talk to you. Thank you.
We know the
very
premiere
much.
of the documentary is out today. You'll be doing a special performance as part of it, and people can see the documentary. Will they be able to see it if they don't go to cinemas and streaming
so we've got this day where it's playing in cinemas up and down the country.
Right.
And then in a few weeks' time, we'll be able to announce where we're releasing
More
it.
to come.
Great.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.